Hi, and welcome at the third quick tip of the Audio Tuts Plus session notation in Sibelius. My name is Hugo Trump, and thank you for watching. This time we're going to talk about layout and printing in Sibelius, because obviously when you have notated a score for an orchestra or your band or something else for special projects or something, you of course want to be able to make a nice layout and to print it properly, because that is also quite important. Now, as an example, I'm going to use a score that I have recently created for an orchestra. It's called Of Honor and Glory. It's a kind of epic name. It's also quite an epic piece. Contains different techniques, different expressions like espressivo, really expressive should it be, BPM recorded with metronome so that I could add electronic elements on top of it later, string techniques, things like that. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is the different parts. So we've also taken a look at the different parts in the in Quick Tip 2, where we imported MIDI data from Cubase into Sibelius. But I just want to get into it to so that you have that in mind. It is very important for an orchestra session and also for a band to print different parts, because obviously the violins want to be able to only have a sheet on which they will have their own notes rather than just this whole score. So what you can simply do is go to the different parts of, in this case, the violin 1. So that is pretty handy. Now, how are we going to print all the different parts? Very simple. Go to File, where it is, Print All Parts, right there. Now you can just choose between different options. You can add a date and time, a border, crop marks, and you can view the menu options, and you can print it in color. Now you can substitute the lines, the braces, the arpeggios, the glissandos, symbols, also the format. You can fit it to paper, to scale it. You can even scale it down or up. You can obviously select your printer, but as I'm not connected to a printer right now, I cannot print. So then you are basically printing all the parts, but not the full score itself, and therefore what you've got to do is go to File, Print. Now again, you can choose a page range, pages, let's see, 1 to 7, something like that. You can just choose all pages. You can even make copies for the producer and the, let's say, audio management or something like that. So you can actually make copies. Again, the same things like the date and the time. Pretty obvious. Now, what you can also do is you can choose Layout, then Document Setup. And this is pretty much a preview of all your pages and how they are going to be printed. Now you can choose between different page sizes. You can choose between millimeters and inches, by the way, for different countries. And a lot of film scores are actually being printed on A3 paper, and you can see that now a lot of more music is printed on one page. In fact, we've only got 1, 2, 3 pages. Now as I choose Band, you can see it's only very small, and we're pretty much having, well, I don't know, 10 pages or even more. So the band only gives room for, let's say, 4 or 5 instruments, and this can be used for if you really have a band. There you can just notate the voice, maybe the guitar, the drums, the percussion, and the bass, something like that, so that you get everything a little bit bigger. Now I'm just going to choose A4. You can also change to rotate the paper so that you will have it like this, which is also quite handy. But this way you can bind everything together and create some kind of booklet. So I would certainly suggest doing this. Now page margins, you can do mirrored, different. You can choose between different margins. Pretty obvious. I do not know everything about printing, but this should be fine. So you can also create a title page, and that is pretty easy. Just right mouse button, title page. Now the title is Of Honor. How do you spell that? Like that. And Glory. by me. There you can include the part name, full score. And obviously this would be the piano if I would create a title page for the piano. So that is also pretty handy. Obviously what you can do is move around different bars. So let's just take a very low note or a very high note, like this, the flutes. So if you would put this too close, then these two would interact, and it would be very difficult for the composer and the audio producer to kind of overlook everything. So you just want to create space, and although it doesn't matter for the individual parts, to just have this kind of outlook on everything, and just you have to oversee everything. It is handy that Sibelius has got a very dynamic kind of liquid workflow. So the next thing that I'm going to show you, where a lot of people get stuck, is page breaks. So the only thing that you have to do is you've got to insert right here a bar. Let's just put a bar here, a bar at the end, I'm sorry, a bar line, and let's do just a double. Now as these double lines are selected and they are kind of purple, what you can do is hit the control button and then enter, and as you can see it will create a page break after the purple things. So you can basically determine how many pages you want and what kind of information you want to have on each paper, which is just a quick tip. And also this right here in the beginning, because you can also go to Panorama View, and then you'll just have a whole view of this massive score. And as you can see, only in the beginning the horn, the violins, and the piano, where is it? Right there, are playing. So as we go to the normal printing view, you can see that it only has the piano and the horn, also the clocks and the violins, and then it adds this kind of page break here, so that it continues here, rather than also then displaying these instruments which don't play anything. So this is basically saving space for the paper, which is also environmental friendly. But that's just another advantage. It's not really the goal. The goal is efficiency, and this is where notation is all about. You want notation to be as easy as possible for the musicians to interpretate, because you can go ahead and create all sorts of difficult things, like glissandi, though it's quite common. You know, just kind of unusual things, like very unusual. Let's go to the symbols here. Keyboard, well, pedal is obviously normal, but just very strange keys and stuff. You just want to write music and then make it as easy as possible to let it be performed by the people who can actually play the instrument. That's the final goal, to make it as easy and efficient as possible. And now the last thing that I'm going to show you, this is a shorter quick tip than the others, though it is quite important, is I'm going to show the house styles. So what we can now do is go to house styles and then import different house styles. So house styles are basically fonts, music fonts. So we can do Keyboard Helsinki, which uses the Georgia font, the Keyboard Opus, the larger notes. And what you can do is you can define whether you want also the clefs and the symbols and the text to be in that certain style. Right now, let's just see how this style looks. It looks pretty much like our old style, though something has changed. Let's just, this one is quite different, I think. Yeah. So you can see that we've got different fonts, different titles. Well, I actually pretty much like this title, though I really don't like the key signatures here. And the notes, they are pretty not readable. So you can just choose between different house styles and standard ones like this. This one is actually very good readable. This is an Arial font, pretty clear. You can choose between all sorts of different ones, and just different notes and different fonts. So that's just something that I wanted to show you. You can also export your own house style by changing things right here, and you can also download house styles on the internet, by the way, and then import them right here so that you get a visually attractive score which is still clear to read, because that's also quite important, right? So now that was pretty much it. Yeah, this is pretty much all you need to know of printing and spacing the score, making it a good layout, making it visually efficient and attractive, and adding a title page. You can, by the way, also insert graphics. You can go to other here, also staffs. You can add graphic here. You can actually choose between different pictures. Let's choose picture of days. Oh, it has to be .tif graphics, but you can just export them in Photoshop or Paint or whatever. So you can actually import images and then place them here on the score or right here. So this is all pretty cool because Sibelius is a pretty flexible notation software, considering layout. Now that was pretty much it. I want to thank you for watching, and I also want to invite you for the next quick tip, which will be working with ideas. So ideas is actually a special section within Sibelius. It is right here, and it allows you to be very creative and efficient and also very dynamic, but we'll talk about that in the next quick tip on audiotouchplus.com. So again, thank you for watching. My name is Hugo Trump, and I'll see you next time.